Hey guys, Street Smart Joker here. So today I'm going to introduce you to the world of pocketbooks, four of which I have in front of me. So for those of you who don't know what is pocketbook, it's a downsized version of a trade paperback in short, right? What I mean by that, a normal trade paperback looks like this, the size, and I also have a single edition kind of book with me. So just to give you a size comparison, right? The single edition book is slightly bigger than trade paperback. From the edges, you could see the difference, but essentially, these are much bigger in size than the pocketbook which I have here. Now, if you compare to some of the editions that come out in India, which is also like a miniature format, I have a book from the Graphic India, which is Devi. So even this one, which they have published recently, is bigger than what you see as Marvel pocketbook, which I have in front of me. Now, what could be the closest in comparison to this, which you may be familiar with, are the Gotham comics, the Giant Super Specials. Although they are still a bit bigger than the pocketbooks, as you guys can see, right? It's slightly bigger. But this is the closest I could get to give you a comparison overview. Now, the question which many of you guys may be having is, why do we have such a format? Like, right, isn't it too small to enjoy the comic book art? It's actually true. It's pretty small to enjoy the art, but it's also, I think, one third. It would cost you one third of the price of that of a trade paperback, right? So it's pretty cheap, and that is the reason why it's out there. It's like a quick read kind of format which you can carry when you're traveling, you are on a bus journey, train journey, etc. This is the best format to enjoy and do a quick read where you want to enjoy the story, and that is the reason why these things exist. Now, what I have here, two of the books which you guys can see, the Uncanny X-Men and the Fantastic Four. Both of these are early edition. This came out in early 2000, 2004, 2005, that time, and they are thicker, right, compared to the newer editions. As you guys can see, these are thicker books compared to a new one, which is much thinner, although there is a huge difference between the older ones and the new ones. The interesting part is these pocket books also have classic stories from the Golden Age, Silver Age. You could see Stan Lee and Jack Kirby's name for Fantastic Four in Doomsday. So this has some of the old classic stories featuring Silver Surfer, the Fantastic Four, some of the origin stories of some of the villains, right? All that kind of stuff, which is really brilliant on the face of it. But you dig dig a bit deeper, and you will see there are some flaws in it. One is these books have very heavy glue attached to them, so there is a lot of gutter loss, right? It's very difficult for me to read a story properly in these books unless I really need to strain and look at each panel by almost cutting the book in half, right? Which is really a difficult thing. And the paper quality, obviously these are newspaper print paper quality in the olden days, so that's another drawback. The coloring is also not that standout. They replicated the colors from the Golden Age, Silver Age, etc. But obviously what matters are the stories that is contained within. They are quite brilliant and very classic stories. So it's very good value proposition for somebody who just wants to pick them up for a good price and enjoy them while they are traveling, right? The same goes for Uncanny X-Men as well. This is second Genesis, and it's by Chris Claremont, Dave Cockrum, Len Wein and Bill Mantlo. Again, similar to the one I showed you earlier. The good part is the Marvel pocketbooks also contain the cover art from the original single issue, which is a great thing, and as well as obviously the stories, the tied up stories, right? So these are all, for example, this came out in 94 August. It cost 25 cents, and the next story will be a continuation from there, right? So 95 October. So that it collects a bunch of stories like that, which is really brilliant, right? And you usually get this for around $500 if you look at the price in India, which is pretty cheap for getting a bunch of stories like this. I love the newer version more than the older ones, simply because one, there is not much of a gutter loss. It's pretty better, much better than what I showed you earlier. And second part is the paper quality is very nice. The colors just pop out from the pages, so it's very close to a trade paperback kind of feel to it. And I just enjoyed reading this one specifically, Wolverine First Class. A bunch of artists and writers who worked on this. I think this is a Scott Williams cover, I'm not sure, right? As you guys could see, what's inside of it, some brilliant stories and some great cover art, right? So some great cover art is also there. So that's a very good thing to have for me, at least. And again, there is another one. This is a classical one from Chris Claremont and Frank Miller. These are stories which are published much earlier than Wolverine First Class, and you could see it in the color and art style as well, right? But again, these are stories which I would love to read. And in the early days of Wolverine, what Claremont did with his character is pretty classic nowadays. So that's it, guys. So that's what I wanted to show you. I'll give you a better closer look at these things. Just a second. Maybe in terms of artwork, Wolverine First Class for me is the best one, so I will show you that. For any of you guys who wants a cheaper form in which you want to enjoy the classic Marvel stories, I think Pocketbooks are a brilliant way to collect and read them, which I would definitely give a like +1, in fact, except that I don't recommend the older ones which you see here much, because the gutter loss pretty much spoils the story, but the new ones doesn't, right? So I would recommend going for the new ones in the paperbacks, which is available on Amazon, Flipkart, and the like. So you can definitely try them out, while the older ones, like I said, has lot more content in them. The thickness will be testimony to that, but the gutter loss spoils the fun for me. Yeah, so that's it. So I hope you guys like this short video on Marvel Pocketbooks, and yeah, see you next time. Take care. Please do like and subscribe.